In this video, I'm going to show you the exact 3-step framework that you should be using in order to turn more interested replies into actual booked sales calls. Now, why am I making this video? It's because most cold email content is only about the first touch. How do you set up your inboxes correctly? How do you build the best leads list? How do you optimize your copywriting? And while all of that content is great, there is close to no content about what you should actually be doing when someone does respond to your cold email. And that's a real shame because that is probably the single most important factor to determining whether someone's going to book a sales call with you or they're going to ghost their follow-ups for the rest of eternity. Now, just so you know I'm not speaking out of thin air here, here's a stat about lead response times from Chili Piper. Quote, studies show that businesses that respond to leads in 5 minutes or less are 100 times more likely to connect and convert opportunities. Now, here's the actual HubSpot and MIT study they're citing. You can see on the left is 5-minute response times, and then right after that, there is a precipitous drop in your ability to convert clients. So here's the mindset you should be using, therefore, in order to get these clients on actual sales calls. You should be treating every single interested lead as absolute gold. Now, you've already put so much effort into getting them to respond. They're now standing literally straight in front of you, so you should be doing absolutely everything in your power to get them on a call. These are the most valuable people your business can be receiving. Now, here's a quick analogy for you to better understand. Imagine warm leads as a treasure chest, except the chest is straight in front of you and you know exactly what's in the chest, which is thousands of dollars if you were to close the client. Now, if this was a true scenario, you would be doing everything you possibly could to open this chest. You would be smashing it on the floor, trying to find the key, doing anything else you can. So this is the exact type of aggression that you should be using in order to pursue these warm leads. Now, here's our exact SOP that I recommend. First thing you do is the moment you receive a notification from Instantly or SmartLead about an interested reply, you call them instantly. You should be getting their number from either their signature, which many businesses leave, or a mobile finding tool like Lead Magic. Why should you do this? Number one, it's the fastest way to get in contact with them. There's no faster way than calling them. Second, it shows that you're committed to your business and it demonstrates the type of proactivity that you would use if they were actually your client. Third, it is much harder to say no on a call just because you're talking to someone. There's a bit of that inbuilt human pressure, whereas on email, they can't even put any voice to what you're talking to, and therefore it's much harder to convert. Fourth, if you actually put a voice on your business, it builds trustworthiness because the number one detriment of all cold email campaigns is they don't trust you in the first place. They don't believe you can deliver results. So putting a voice up front is incredibly important and it already builds repertoire. So once you get to the sales call, then they're talking to the same person that they're familiar with again. Now, last thing, if they don't pick up, it's still fine because it means that you can leave a voicemail for them. And then in your email, you can start by saying, hey, I left a quick voicemail for you explaining our service. Here's it in a little more detail. And that's going to be a lot more personalization than everyone else. So how should you be doing this? You should be writing out an exact script so you don't have to think about it when you get a notification. So the script I currently have goes like this. Hey there, is this Michael? Yeah, it's Frank. I'm calling because you showed interest in our cold email lead gen service. Can I take 30 seconds out of your day in order to go into a bit more detail about what we do? And then always make sure that script includes at the end a CTA asking for a few specific times they could potentially get a call. And if you're actually able to get them on a call, that's exactly what you're looking for. So common objections I know you guys are already thinking about. First, does calling annoy the prospect? Absolutely not. If you're calling them within a minute of receiving their email, then that means your service or solution is still at the very top of their mind. And this is only beneficial for you because it means they're going through and physically looping through all of the reasons they're interested in your offer as they talk to you. Second thing you're probably asking, they asked for more info instead of just saying I'm interested. Should I still call them? Answer is absolutely yes. Now, you should think of this as objection handling before a sales call even happens. So This is best because all of these thoughts are fresh in their mind and they haven't had the time to linger and become far more detrimental during the sales call. So if you're able to deal with them up front, you're making your life far easier afterwards. Now, last thing, should I be pushing for a call? Yes. So if they said they're interested, you should just be explaining your offer in a little bit more detail and then pitching some times for them. They'll totally be happy with taking some calls if they actually said they were interested. Now, if they ask for more information, then you should be answering everything they asked chronologically, asking if it makes sense, asking if they have any confusions or clarifications they want, and then propose a few times. So now that they, took this call, let's assume that the prospect didn't actually respond to the call and you just left a voicemail. What you should do right after that is respond to their email ASAP. This should be done within 1 to 5 minutes of receiving their initial response. Now, the data backs this, which I already showed above, that there is a massive difference if you reply early. Even the difference between just taking 5 minutes versus 10 minutes is a 5x difference in conversion rates. So what should you be saying in these emails? Number 1, be brief. You should be answering all their questions up front and don't add too much fluff because you haven't gained their trust yet. So all they want from you is to get some information. Second, you should always be adding more value. So this means sending links to your website, links to case studies, interviews, etc. So not only are you demonstrating value up front by answering their questions, you're giving them additional stuff to look at if they're interested. Now, third, you should always thank them for their time. This is a small thing, but I've noticed it's incredibly effective at increasing conversion rates because these prospects, they're showing you their goodwill by trusting a stranger, asking you for more information, saying they're interested. So now you should let them know of that by saying, I appreciate your time, thanking them for responding, something of that sort. Now, in order to maximize these response times and optimize how fast you get back to them, you should be having templates of every single scenario. So what if they ask for information? What if they ask for the price? What if they disagree with the price or they think it's too expensive? What if they don't want to take a call? All these are things you should be templating out in a Google Doc so you can just copy and paste it the moment you get the notification. Last part of the SOP is you should be following up 4 to 5 times. So this isn't an exact science, but we found this to be the sweet spot between getting them bugged just enough for them to respond to you and getting reported as spam. So here's the follow-up cadence that we actually use. On day 1, we send the first follow-up. Day 4 is the second. Day 7 is the third. And these first 7 days make up the brunt of the responses you're going to get. Day 14 is the fourth follow-up, and day 30 is the fifth follow-up. These two are kind of just to re-nurture them in case they forgot, in case something changed in their business and they want to show interest again. But really, they're depending on the first 3 follow-ups to get most of your results. Now, what should you be saying? You should continue to add more and more value. So if they didn't respond the first time, it's because it probably wasn't worth their time to learn more about your business or offer. So force them to acknowledge how good your service is by showing them more case studies, more social proof, news appearances, your website, pitch decks, anything that you can demonstrate with value. Second, you should try to either A, lower the stakes. That means they might not want to take a call up front, so you should be taking a few steps back and making it easier to say yes. This looks like asking them if they want more information, asking if they have any questions, asking for permission to send something else to them that's custom made. Or you should increase the stakes, and this is actually the exact inverse. This is more niche, but it's also incredibly effective. So instead of making the call less attractive or stripping the call, you should be making the call seem more and more attractive. So explain what you'll be covering in the call, show them a custom plan that you can go over. Stuff like that is all good to do. Now, that's the 3 main things you should be optimizing for. Here's some other small tips that I recommend doing. Number 1, never send a calendar link. Just from experience, you'll get far more conversions if you're sending a few times. Like, are you available on Monday at X and Y or Tuesday at A or B? The reason is because a calendar link seems lazy. It creates unnecessary friction because they have to click on the link and then manually think about a time they're available. And then many people are also scared to click links, which you'll realize if you sent a lot of cold emails. Second thing you should do, if it's a really good lead that you're fortunate to have had respond, then you should be contacting them and pursuing them through as many channels as possible. You're not just the cold email guy, you should be contacting them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And this guarantees that number one, they aren't missing out just because, your email slid through the cracks. And number two, it generates the fear of missing out, so FOMO, because they're probably thinking, why would someone possibly reach out to me so much with so much relentlessness and persistence if it weren't something important to my business? I appreciate you getting to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell me what you want to see next in the comments, and I'll do it. Now, if you're a B2B business and you want my personal help to book you 30 plus qualified sales calls every month on a purely performance basis where you only pay if and after you actually take the call we book, then click the link below and let's chat. It's flowyo.com.